We have a hype train going on. So we've
Yay.
come into this conversation with Fixumdude with a full-on hype train. So uh, thank you, Fixumdude, for starting off the hype train for sure. And then we had Kevin jump in. Someone gifted a sub to RC Maniac. Monsoon Josh has given some hype, and I see we've got lots of friends here in chat. So, also, if you are a maker, check backstage because there's definitely a link there for you. So let's get started.
All right.
So this is your first time officially your official on camera. You
Yep.
have been interviewed a few times,
Yes.
but yeah, we have a Fixum dude with us.
Yay.
So I know that you've got all sorts of things to share, but I'm going to share something right away. So a year ago last week was when I started 3D printing, and a lot of it had to do with you because you helped furnish me with my first 3D printer.
Yes, that printer.
So that printer. But
Yes.
it's funny because I found one of the first things that I actually printed with that printer, and it was a Fixumdude model. It's
Oh,
the
wow.
Fixumdude little Grogu. And of course, since then, I've been very successful at printing many Fixumdude things. Of course, one of my most favorite things is your BD1. I think you can bang BD in chat. You can also do exclamation mark Fixumdude in chat and take a look at a lot of his models. I have printed copious amounts of them.
More
I
than
love
me, I
this
think.
Flexi Cthulhu. Probably. I've got the MakerDeck Snowflake. Your I don't have Darth Vader here, but I have the gingerbread TIE
Oh, yeah.
fighter. Of course, the Snowflake TIE fighter. I love to keep these as the kits. First of all, because I'm not very good at building them, as you know, and
I
also
give
because they're just so
instructions.
pretty. Yes, you do give very detailed instructions. So yeah, I've got all kinds of his models here. I love doing the Millennium Falcon. This I'm actually going to do some wall art with that. I see we've got a Krusty in chat.
Hey,
We've got my
Krusty.
mom in chat. We got Papa Bear in chat. So, oh yeah, this is like one of the latest ones. I did an Easter version, although I can see a Millennium Falcon Easter egg.
Ooh.
Ideas, and then of course you're like, Liz, no, please, no more ideas, no more ideas. Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to show. One of my favorite things that you've done is your garlands, and of course these have evolved over the last little while. I really like the Valentine's garland. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
so pretty. It was so nice to see. And behind me, I actually have a test model of your new St. Patrick's garland. So
Yes.
yeah,
Coming
if there's
soon.
color swaps, and if there's a challenge, uh, you know me. I love to print it. But of course, this is my personal favorite, and this is done in the Mystic Green Prusa mint. So
True. And in
yeah,
your defense,
so
you got that before the instructions were available. So,
I did. I did. I've printed that BD1 several times. I've had people uh, abscond with it because they love that model so much. So, and thank you everybody for the hype train. So, if you're joining us right now, um, my name's Liz, and I'm the executive producer for MakerDeck. But a big part of MakerDeck are people that are behind the scenes. I mean, I'm behind the scenes too, but we've got our mods, we've got our studio crew, and then we have our Fixum dudes and Crusties. But Fixum dude, otherwise known as Michael or
Mike.
Mike,
Yep.
Mike, you have been helping behind the scenes for since the beginning, and of course, if you know anything about our emotes, or if you enjoy our emotes, all of them are thanks to Fixumdude. So having fun with all of these little emotes every day, the hellos, the drippy pails, the spaghettis, the lasers, all of that.
Those are fun to figure out how to
created
make.
them. Exactly. So so you are the man behind all of that as well. So do you want to maybe we'll do the slideshow and talk about you a little bit?
Sure.
Would that make you
You want to run through that? Find out where I came from.
I'll get you. Yeah. So of course, these are all the different iterations of Fixumdude that you can find all over the internet. How did you come up with your logo?
That was actually just whipped out in a few minutes because I joined Twitter and I needed a logo, and it had to be in a round. I actually had a square one at first, but then I realized that Twitter made everything round. So I was like, so I whipped that out in like 10 or 15 minutes, and it just kind of stuck. So I'm kind of stuck with it now. But anyway, it's worked out all right, I guess. I just wanted something that had a dude in it. So.
And where did where Papa Bear's asking, how did you come up with the name?
That one, I can't remember exactly. It's all the way back from high school, I think. We were Steve Martin fans, and he had that Ramblin' Guy song, and so we were talking about fixing stuff. So a friend, I can't remember who it was now, took Fixumdude, like Fixem. So I had to take Fixumdude, and so that's just been a nickname handle ever since like the 80s. So that's kind of no rhyme or reason, just because we used to take things apart and try to fix them. So.
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about what we're looking at on this slide. So
this is just
grade school
early
and high
stuff.
school years.
I've always loved to draw and paint. So I remember having to paint a Mickey Mouse on my little sister's crib when I was 7. So my parents wanted me to decorate it, and I was so nervous to ruin this brand new crib because I wasn't very confident. But anyway, that's as far back as I remember liking to paint and draw. So the top one is I think middle school. I drew a picture and got to go to state. We got to go to the huge town of Springfield, Illinois, and compete. And I didn't put the bank I drew at the last second. That was horrible. That didn't get any kind of awards. And then that's just the highlights. Just some art I'd done in high school. We had this thing called the Lupus in Longview that was collection of short stories and poems and artwork, and so I got the cover of that and a couple story inside and a couple illustrations for other people's stories, and let's see, there's the Nickelodeon.
I see a dragon.
Yes, that was painted from a Dragon magazine in high school. And then you see on the right, that's a really bad picture I found on a 110 camera film not too long ago, but you can kind of see that like everything I was motivated by cars and girls back then. So even the dog was for girls. So anyway, that's my dad's motorcycle I drew in I think high school or middle school. And then the Nickelodeon backpack. I loved Nickelodeon. I still have it.
Oh wow.
I won that in the Slime and sweepstakes.
Oh my goodness.
I loved You Can't Do That on Television as a teenager. So.
Water?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know. If you know,
I'm not going to say it.
And if you're Canadian, then you had the repeats like bombarded. We had them. We had a channel called YTV, which was sort of like the Nickelodeon of Canada, and we got all the repeats of that show. So, all right, and then of course you you started to develop a little bit more with your skills. And so you went to college and studied what?
I started off at Southern Methodist University and studying computer engineering. And once I got to like calculus 2 and stuff, I was like, this is rough. But then I would always take art on the side. And it was one day I was like, why am I killing myself with this, engineering stuff? And the art is just a breeze. So some girl I was dating was like, why don't you, you don't have to be an engineer. Why don't you just switch? And I was like, oh yeah, I could. So anyway, I transferred to the University of North Texas and switched to advertising art. So that was a big change, and it really extended my school, but I ended up a lot happier in the long run, I think. But that's just, I just found that picture of those speakers. I guess that was my first woodworking electronics build. And I did that like freshman year of school. Those things were huge. But if there's any electrical engineers out there, that was before I had taken any engineering, and I wired all of those drivers in parallel, which reduced the resistance down to nothing and probably killed my really nice amp. But they worked. They were loud. That's all we cared about.
Oh wow.
So, and then while I was at SMU, they had a tryout for Win, Lose, or Draw. So all my friends and I went to try out, and I got called back that night. We had like a huge tryout, and we went back to like a smaller room, and I was not expecting to get picked, but we got picked to go to Hollywood and had fun on the show. They taped the whole week in one day. I didn't know that, so that was interesting. That's why I don't change clothes all week on that show. So. But that was fun, and that just shows.
I've already planned out my outfit for later with Wexter. And so you did Win, Lose, or Draw. Yeah, and of course there is video of you on Win, Lose, or Draw.
Yeah, I found a really bad videotape
on YouTube
and put it on my channel just for fun.
Yeah, so search it out. He's a great dancer. He got lots of hugs from cute girls, and
that was fun.
You were a winner. You even decades later made us proud with your drawing.
So yes, then I graduated, got married, and then that's actually my two greatest makes are my sons, but I'm not really supposed to talk about them much on with internet strangers. But
okay.
This was early stuff. So that was my first medium, I guess, was woodworking. So we built our first dining room table. That was kind of parts stuck together, but. Then we built our bed there. That's still a good bed up in the attic, and they have our trading spaces wall in the background. That took forever to paint.
Oh my goodness!
That was the early 2000s. Was
that inspired by?
Yes.
Yeah.
We were huge trading spaces.
That aesthetic.
Fans. And then
so you must remember where the hay wall. Do you remember that one?
And the records, and Hildy was hilarious. Yeah, we enjoyed the show, and Paige Davis.
Yep.
But there's just some random
all about that.
Entertainment center I built to fit our giant TV and a little bookshelf beside it to kind of block my messy desk from our L-shaped living room, and did some learning towers for a friend at work, and some bookshelves for Fixumdude's classroom when she was a classroom teacher. A little changing table, and then the planter we just did last year, so I don't get to woodwork as much as I used to, but still once in a while. So.
And you recently built a whole shed, so you can do some more of your different types of
hopefully that will help. So we had a big metal building built beside our house, so hopefully I can room to spread out my tools and get back into making cabinets and things like that. Right, but that was my first, I guess, second medium was. Oh, and I am a deck maker for real. That was the deck we built on the back of our
Is Mighty
house.
Bean here? Yeah. Is
Yes,
Mighty Bean here to see
that was
that?
fun.
We have a deck maker on MakerDeck.
Yep. That was
All right.
interesting. And I also enjoy retro gaming, retro computing. It's just a few. That's one of my Craigslist Commodore 64 hauls. I got like all that for like $80, I think. So it was a really good deal. And our arcade cabinet that's sitting right here behind me that I haven't worked on in years, but we used to have fun with that. If any of you were into retro computing in the early 2000s, we sold those Optic One spinner boards to repair your trackball, or you can make a spinner out of it, repair your arcade spinner. So they stopped making the part we use, but we sold a couple hundred of those. So that was fun.
Oh, wow.
So, and I've got
And
Atari
of course,
2600. Go ahead.
And of course, you've seen David Randolph's
Oh, yes.
collection of retro.
I'm very jealous. Wish I had time to mess with them more, but right now it's just a collection.
And what's this?
I do have a game, so I've always loved games, and especially adventure games. So over Christmas 2020, I think I was hoping to do this in a week, but ended up taking about a month. It's just a real short little 3D printing adventure where you have to search around and find parts for your printer to get it going and figure out what you're supposed to do. And anyway, DB3D Dan has played it a few times on his stream. It only takes about 10 or 20 minutes if you know what you're doing. That was fun.
So do you think we can play that? Maybe we can play that on Locker Gnome sometime.
Maybe. It's Windows only, that just stops a lot of you Mac people from being able to play it. But anyway, it was fun. I put a lot of my favorite, there's little Easter eggs for different 3D printers that I was a big fan of back then. So you can click on things and there's a lot of puns, and it was just a little fun exercise to kill the time.
All right. Oh, and what do we have here?
And these are just
so you continue to
projects. So like that bottom Mickey was like a mural I had to paint in our Walmart store when I worked there in college. And I didn't get a picture. We painted a 35-foot long Walmart semi truck in the receiving department. So I got to go to the paint department, mix up whatever colors I wanted, and be in the back painting instead of helping customers. So that was a lot of fun. But the baseball mural is for our son's nursery, when our oldest son, when he was born, and then he actually ended up being a baseball player for a while. So I don't know if we incepted him or what, but and then that was the top one is the plane is for Vacation Bible School. And I was proud of that one because I used an old motor I had gotten for no reason and had just laying around, and we actually made the propeller spin slowly, during the Vacation Bible School. So that was like 8 feet tall and like 35 feet wide, another big one. And then I've worked on cars. I had a couple 66 Mustangs that we tried to keep running back in college. This was a 64 Ford truck that we got in the condition up on the top, and I actually had to sell it because we didn't have room, and we had Fixum Kid number 2 on the way, so it looked like the bottom when I got rid of it, but we made it run. There's the Grugalopoly I made for my parents. That was all the properties were places we had lived over the course of our lives, and community chest and chants were like events that had happened in our lives, and that was kind of fun. I wish I had 3D printing back when I made that. That was a long time ago, but I could have made little pieces to go with it, like my dad's motorcycle and stuff. That would have been taking it to the next level. And then there's
for sure
painting wood. There's another little snowman I made for my mother-in-law with books with her name in the title, puns and pumpkins we've carved over the years. So we just like creating, making. My son's Fixin' kid number one went as a robot one year, so of course we had to make it light up and all kinds of fun stuff. That was pre 3D printing also. That would have been next level if we could
Oh
have
my
done it.
goodness. Yeah, exactly.
So
That would have
we've
been a project.
always been a maker, enjoyed taking things apart, putting them back together, creating new things out of it.
Yeah, and I've really learned the true meaning of Fixumdude. Oftentimes for like, I come up with an idea for whether it's a thumbnail or like to advertise coffee talk, or even the thumbnail for today's interviews and stuff like that. I start to sort of sketch things out, and then fix then Fixumdude fixes it. So
Yeah,
it's like there's my little concept, and then you just go in and like magic happens.
yeah,
So um,
that
I
helps a
think that
lot. Having
having
a starting point really helps.
yeah, yeah,
Actually, better than someone going just go crazy and use your imagination. I'm like, you have any
yeah.
idea where to
So
start?
yeah, so as a creative, I guess you like to have a little bit of inspiration, or a little. I know you have a list. Actually,
Yes.
let's talk about your list for a minute here.
Oh wow,
I have seen the list.
parts
How
of
many
it.
things
Yes.
are on the list right now?
Oh, there's probably close to 100 things, just ideas on the list. That's just the general list. There's also a MakerDeck list, a T-shirt list, just different stuff. But lots of
Yes.
lists and not enough
Yeah.
time to do it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, all of the merchandise that's in the MakerDeck store has been designed by you, and that actually takes a lot more work than just designing something, because it's the positioning of everything. And yeah, Krusty's saying, "Do you have a list of all your lists?"
Yes, I need to make a
So
list of this.
and of course all of your models. You explored Patreon for a little bit, but then you decided to stick with the model sites like printables. And do you find that puts less pressure on you? What brought you to that decision
Yeah,
to share
Patreon
rather
was
than to?
not for me. I think early on, it's either the Millennium Falcon or the TIE Fighter, and somebody suggested that I make a Patreon. I was like, oh yeah, I can get rich, but it was just I started one for about a year, and it was just too much pressure with my schedule. My work is real cyclical, but seems to have been really busy the last decade. So I don't see that having any lulls like it used to. So anyway, just busy personal life and kids and stuff. It's just I couldn't really crank out what I felt was a high quality model that I would pay $3 or $5 a month for. So I just finally shut that down and just gave everybody their money back, and was like, we'll just call it even, and we'll go from here.
And that is so you. This man is just full of kindness. If anyone, people knew what you do behind the scenes and everything, you are a wonderful human being, and you also have a really good sense of humor. and you do not like
very
fools.
dark, but yes.
I know that. So what else do we have here? Oh yes, you've done. That's actually. I will tell you, when I found out how you were discovered per se, like with the with Joel finding you. I guess we're going to get to that. I did go into Reddit, and I saw that you had done a couple really interesting things. You were sharing them on Reddit, like these projects, but so you've always been interested in involving electronics in things. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yes, I've always loved tearing apart electronics, even as a kid. So I used to get in trouble for it, but then once I started fixing things, not as much. But yeah, I think most of these projects are pre 3D printing. So that's a little play kitchen that we made for Fixum Gal's niece. That I wanted to build it, but I just ran out of time, so we just bought a play kitchen, and then I added some EL wire to the oven and the burners to make it look like they glow when you hit a switch. We added a magnetic switch to the refrigerator so the light comes on when you open it. And then the most fun was the microwave. We added a keypad and a display and a little Arduino in the back and a really noisy fan we found. And then there's a light
Oh,
in the microwave.
wow.
So you can put in like 20 seconds and hit start, and then the light will come on and the really loud fan will go and it sounds like the microwave's running, and then it'll beep at the end. So that was kind of fun. That was one of my favorites. And then the thing on the right is we have work with a sign maker for work, but he came to me and wanted to know if for this pediatric dentist wanted us to kind of create this thing he had seen in a children's museum for his waiting room, and that's just a RGB display and with little sliders, and the numbers at the top are the percentage of red, green, and blue, and it mixes into these RGB lights that shine on this suit of armor in the waiting room. It's really neat. That's just my test right there, but it's fun to play with. Everyone in the office and my kids were all playing with it while I was trying to figure out how to clean up the noise from those analog sliders, and it was fun. The hardest part was finding big enough displays that also came in red, blue, and green colors. So I think it turned out pretty neat.
Jordan saying, "What I've gathered is that Fixum is cooler than everyone. The math checks out." So
no.
Okay, so we do have makers in the background, but I'm going to keep them in the background for right now while we do this slideshow, and then we'll go into it. Yeah, so let's talk about this. And of course, if you are a maker, the Streamlink is, as we do some admin here. Okay, so let's talk about this. This is more of your electronics, and this is sort of what I found on Reddit. Yeah, so tell us about this.
Yes, the top right is the COVID counter we had. I got the Ada box. I don't know if anybody else has gotten that from Adafruit. It was a subscription box, and that was one of the little electronic devices that came in it. So just for fun, we'd have it scroll through the time, date, weather, and then tell us the local and state COVID cases for that day, and then the plus or minus whether it was going up or down. And then my older son is into spike balls, so we made that one actually had 3D printing. We 3D printed some rails and clips to clip LED light strips to the spike ball net, and so they could play at night. It has a little backup battery that runs it, and so that was kind of fun. It makes the outside of the net glow. And then every year for work we have a Christmas party, so we've done games where you guess a song with just a couple seconds of the song, and bingo, and win, lose, or draw Pictionary type games. But this year I thought it'd be fun to do a Family Feud style where we get up there and have to answer questions. So we made a little podium. That podium is actually made out of the frame of my hypercube that I tore apart. So we're just always repurposing, and I think the board is a shelf that came out of something, but I bought a couple big buttons that you could arcade buttons that could take some abuse. And anyway, you can see a couple people from work there playing, and I used Node.js for the first time to be able to control the game from a tablet, where I could see the answers and turn them over if someone guessed correctly, and we could put a strike up on the screen if with the big buzzer, of course. So that was a lot of fun. So, and then the LED strip down the front will light up whoever buzzed in first, because you couldn't really see the light on the button really well. So anyway, everyone enjoyed that. So that was a lot of fun.
And you do have probably added to your list is we saw it popped up on Twitter the other day when someone made their MakerDeck logo, and it was someone said, "Oh, this looks like the Simon game." So yes. That's still on your list.
I actually have parts of it designed in Fusion, but yeah, Krusty thought that early on, so that's been on the list for a long time. But just lots of stuff and not enough time.
Yeah, well, on my phone you can see yes, and of course everywhere you can see the MakerDeck logo. It does look like a Simon game. So
We could make 1,000%
right.
Simon game that like a whole group of people would have to.
Yeah, the 550 is here, and oh yeah, I should link in chat. I did share some of the progress of my logo, the 1,000% logo. So if you look at the link that's there in chat, it's pretty big. So that would be fun to have, like, yeah, to have some
Yeah.
interaction.
Like,
So this was the escape room. Yeah, this is what I saw on Reddit. I remember
yes.
seeing this on Reddit. So
I'm kind of proud of this. This took a lot of work, but it was during the pandemic, and we love the whole family and our friends love escape rooms, so we couldn't really go out. So I did design one to play at home, where it was kind of a spy thriller where your friend disappeared, and you had to go through his things, and you find out he was a spy, and so he left clues, so only you could decipher how to defuse this bomb. And anyway, it had infrared light clues, and had, like, you draw a route on a map to form a number to open a lock, and we had the postcards with different colored for the cryptic. That was fun. That was 3D printed. A lot of 3D printing in this one. The Pelican case we made. Anyway, you get down and you have to figure out which wire to cut. That one was a RFID reader, where these different color cards corresponded to the different color wires, would tell you which one was ground, which one was signal, that kind of stuff, power. So the other clues would tell you, you had to cut the signal or the power. So they're not your traditional red power, black ground kind of thing. So that was a lot of fun. So if you cut the wire, it says you win. If you don't cut it in time, as soon as you open the case, you have like 15 seconds to cut the right wire. So, or else it says boom, you blew up. And anyway, that was a lot of fun, but a lot of work. I wish more people would play it. We only had to play it once.
So what happened to it after that?
It's still in a box here somewhere. So.
You've got a lot of boxes around, don't you?
You wouldn't believe, but yes, whole building full.
So K2 says, I love the way that Fixumdude's mind works, always outside the box.
Sometimes inside the box.
Yeah. So when did you start 3D printing? Tell us a little bit about that. I see.
I was trying to figure it out, like, for real. It looks like I kind of started paying attention to 3D printing in 2015. Started watching Joel and Chuck and Maker's Muse and Tom and all these 3D printing channels, and I was like, oh, we definitely need that for work somehow. So we always joked that it was a solution in search of a problem. But I think it looks like in September of 2015 is when I started kind of buying random parts and pieces to try to put one together for work. And all through my history, it looked like in April I bought some ABS filament, which I don't know why I bought ABS, but I think because we knew it would be, work parts would need to be sturdy and temperature resistant. Anyway, if I had known then. But it looks like in October of 2016, so almost over a year later, I finally gave up on trying to get these random parts together to work right, and then just bought this Rep Guru, like, really cheap at the time. I think it was like $329, which you can get a Sobol printer for less than that nowadays. But back then, that was really cheap. And so anyway, but it came with instructions, which was the important part. So it had all the same parts I already had, but it had really good instructions on how to put it together. So we got that going, and then you can kind of see up at the top those are the first 4 prints after we finally got it going. So I can't believe that was on that really bad I say the ABS was
Wow.
bad, but I think it was probably just wet from being, you know, 6 or 8 months old at that point. But yeah, we started with the cube and then started trying to do the benchy. So finally got our first successful benchy there on the left. That's what's stuck to the blue painter's tape. And then
And
took what I learned there and I took those parts home. And then that's on the right is the monstrosity, is that clear acrylic frame uh, conglomeration, different colored, you know, x-axis parts. And anyway, but it worked, and that led to a Prusa clone that I made, and then a hypercube that turned into the Family Feud podium. And so it was a lot of fun.
oh, wow.
So we did actually do a lot of stuff for work. Yeah, you can see.
And so not just work stuff. So what? Yeah. So
Yeah,
then you
well,
started
we had the fun too, but
tinkering. Mm-hmm.
yeah, we started with Tinkercad. You can see we did a lot of parts, little templates to help people drill things at work without measuring. We put a lot of parts together, so like assembly guides to help them put together parts without having to measure or line things up, automatically. So that actually you're paying for the printer like really quickly, just in the just saving 30 seconds a box or something. We make a 5,000 of a year is more than paid for that little $300 printer. But anyway, I started like a lot of people in Tinkercad, and you can see our Flexi animals that I learned on that Articulate Anything YouTube video, and we started making, I tried to fill in the gaps or animals that weren't out there. So, and then I think we gave a Flexi frog to a guy at work, and he took it home, and his daughter said, "This looks like lettuce," because it was like floppy and green, and so that inspired the Flexi burger. It was from his daughter. So that was kind of fun. And then my first model ever posted was the shut up button from. That was my first, I guess, my first model in Fusion. Someone requested that for when people are around their desk talking really loudly. So that was fun. So yeah, we that led to the kit cards. And so the first one was the Millennium Falcon, because we found that Nakazen, I think is how it's pronounced, from Ireland, I believe. Anyway, he had the awesome TIE Fighter, X-Wing. He had a bunch of great Star Wars kit cards. But I was like, I bet we could do a Millennium Falcon. So we did. That was my first kit card. So we did that for the guy in the back at work, same one whose daughter invented the Flexi burger. But he, so we did the Millennium Falcon to kind of go with his little kit card diorama we had going in the back in production. And so then next one was the TIE Interceptor. And so that one I put on Reddit, and then some random guy said, I love this, so I'm going to put it I sized it up a bit and going to put it in the video.
A bit.
Like, okay. Yeah, someone added that later. So then we started investigating who this guy was, and I was like, guys, I think that's the 3D printing nerd. And they're like, no way. So anyway, that turned out to be Joel. And so it seemed like forever before the video came out, but you can see why in the video.
I think it's
shoes.
Yeah, I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I just noticed he had the yellow and the white, so I have yellow and periwinkle here. That's funny.
So,
and I have built them too. I realized I have proof that I've built them before.
Oh, so. Nice.
But yeah.
So that was the beginning, and so someone on Reddit said, you need to get on Twitter and ask Joel or talk to Joel, and there's a big 3D printing community there too. So I was like, okay, and that's when I did the Fixumdude logo and started talking to Joel. It's like, he was one of my first followers, and Krusty was actually one of the first two, which is weird because I had no idea who he was back then. Anyway, I got contact with Joel through Patreon. I was a patron of his, and he offered to send me one of the two models, and I picked the TIE Fighter just because I love blue, and had him sign it. So now it's still hanging up in our production back in the back. So we see it every day. So that was a lot of fun. Anyway, that was the beginning of me on Twitter and the kit cards and all that fun stuff. So, and that's
And then what?
that was just all the fun stuff. That's why I love Twitter and the community. It's for me, it's all just about the fun. And so you can see like the Pooch Rock, that was a joke that Chuck Hellebuck made, and then Builder's Mark turned that into a model, and then I took that and made a little video on it. And a lot of fun from Pooch and Jim from the Edge of Tech. So the Oreos in water thing was just something fun. The Pooch long underwear, the joke about the skull looking like John, and so we photoshopped that up real quick. And then we do fun things at work, like the cars. I would highly recommend that if you live in an area with crazy drivers like we do. That we printed some magnetic cars where we can retell crazy traffic stories at work, and it's kind of fun. But all the Starbucks card is for a guy at work who doesn't really drink coffee, so we all got together for his 30th work anniversary and got him a $500 Amazon gift card, but then we put it in a Starbucks card. So he at first thought he got a $500 Starbucks card for somebody who doesn't drink coffee. So, but if you read the fine print on the back, it just gets crazier and crazier as it goes along. So anyway, just all the fun community stuff, like the Bugman birthday models and the Milk Dudes, Fixumdudes for Joel, and the birthday model for Krusty that I just sketched out, that horrible sketch, and then Bugman turned it into that awesome thing on the right there.
Oh, it's just gorgeous. Yeah. So fun.
Green shot.
But I think you say horrible. Okay. I think it's incredible. And what I love about you is your collaborative, your collaborative spirit, your collaborative, like the energy that you get from collaboration. I know that even when we started with MakerDeck, we had with this channel, we had no emotes, we had no, lots of things. And someone would, we had the whole joke about Pink and her hammer. If anyone's, new to MakerDeck, when Pink first started printing, she had a glass plate, which she has now replaced with a flexi plate, but she had a glass plate, and she was very new to 3D printing too. And her models would get stuck on, she'd be finished, but of course let's say we only had like 2 makers up on the screen or whatever was going on. Anyway, we always loved the theater of Pink removing her models. So she designed herself, which is also amazing. I find the way people's brains work. She designed, which you can see as the emote, she designed this lightsaber hammer, and so she would knock it off. And so that's one of the one of the emotes that you designed. You have one for Captain Feathersword, for Kieran. I mean, we've got all sorts of things. And so if someone brings an idea to you, you sort of make things happen. One of my favorite things, which is behind my printer, and I said I wasn't going to get up, is the when we made Twitch Partner, you made the Twitch Partner logo, things like that, where you get an idea and you transform it like within like hours or days. I think you tend, I guess you get some energy from other people's ideas.
Yes.
And you make magic.
A lot of people, there's so many people that have jumped in and made MakerDeck stuff. I think that slide is missing from this one. I added a MakerDeck slide about how I discovered Chris Perillo through Twitter, and then got to I don't think this is the latest version of the slides, but
Okay.
That
Okay.
kind of
Then
started
what
it
I'm
all
going to
out.
do then, okay, I'm going to take this slide down and we'll talk for a minute. So, yeah, collaboration. So this is something you've made. You've made a lot of different friends within the community,
Yes,
and yeah, talk about, I guess, like for example, Bugman. You guys work together on different things.
yes, and I actually can't even remember how that happened, but it just
Mm-hmm.
was always an idol of mine. One of the big designers that drew inspiration from. I've always loved his style. He has so many models out there, and he's just and turns out a really incredible guy too. So fun stuff. He's into Harry Potter and Star Wars and all that similar stuff. So anyway, but it's just fun to work with people, and a lot of times just a little suggestion can turn into something big like you've seen. So it all depends on kind of getting lightning in the bottle of having the idea and the time to do it at the same time. So just because not every idea gets turned into something doesn't mean that it wasn't a good idea. Just happened to have time. There we go. Yes, that's when
Yes.
I found Chris.
So
You found
yes.
the TIE Fighter, and then I found the stream, and then found you guys. And
Then your life turned upside down.
but it was a lot
So
of
yeah,
fun. But
we've certainly, yeah, yeah, we've developed a nice group of friends that is very supportive, and yeah, we've sort of gone through this evolution. I know, yeah, we hung out a lot in when Chris was streaming every evening on Twitch.
every night, yes,
We were moderators, did a lot of screenshots, as you can see, and yeah,
thousands
and
of
and
screenshots.
Krusty says, "I don't have friends, I have family." So
Oh,
yes, you do have a brother in Chris Russell for sure.
so yes, that
And I
was
think, yeah,
so fun to meet you
Kurt
guys,
Kurt
and you
Kurt
were
and I
so
are like,
welcome.
yeah, yeah, and hopefully we're going to meet in person at Murph. That's
Hopefully,
the plan anyway, right? Yeah.
yes, I hope to go to Murph
So
finally.
yeah, because I've told this story before, but when I was at Earth, I had just a few things on the table, just a few little whatever, and I had the background of the very first comic book image, and people kept on coming up and they said, "Can I buy this? Can I buy this?" They like grabbed I had a whole bunch of the Millennium Falcons and stuff like that. And "Can I buy this?" I'm like, "No, no, no." And then someone's like, "Oh, that's done by Fixumdude." And I'm like, they're like, "Yeah, he's the greatest." I'm like, "I know." I know him. He is the greatest. And so we got to sort of like, yeah, you definitely have fans. You definitely have fans. And people got really excited by like seeing your stuff. And I said, he designed this and he designed this and he designed, so that was a fun part of Earth. But yeah, so you're going to be present at Murph this year.
Yes, I hope if nothing happens, I will be at my first one. I just found out about it like right before the pandemic, and then it's either that or it seemed like we always had something planned right over the top of it. So this year we tried to clear everything out and actually have
Mm-hmm.
several hotels booked. So I need to cancel one of them. And anyway, we'll be there if at all possible.
Hold it till the trust me, hold it till the very end because someone's going to need that reservation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, as Krusty said, there was more Fixumdude stuff in booths all around Earth than any other single artist. So I think part of it is you make things that are fun and easy to print. I mean, this wasn't easy, but it certainly is fun. And I mean, but yeah, you really do design things with I think probably maybe part of it is the small bit of engineering and also the Fixumdude sort of your spirit. You like to tune things in.
Mhm.
I don't have it with me, but like last year's Shamrock Garland, you have now completely changed the way that you do things. And
Yeah, that
I mean, my
evolved.
favorite thing is actually, yeah, like I love the chains that you do. You know, like this is a really neat concept. Yeah, as Kirsty says, he does all the hard work so we don't have to, which is very true. Very true.
Well,
Yeah.
it's just for fun. I mean, the whole point of this is all just to have fun. So that's why my
Hmm.
most of my models are just fun toys or silly things. So it's just so people can enjoy them, have a good time. Making them is important to me. So that's the worst when you get to a model where you're just done with it and you have to finish it and it's not fun anymore. So I'm sure a lot of modelers can relate to you know this is just done, and then people will be like, well, what if we did this, and you're just like, no, it's done, this is it, this is how it's going to be.
It's done. Yeah.
Yeah, you can remix it, but
Yeah. Yes. Perillo. That is true. We'll I'll refrain from any further comment, but yes. Hey, you've definitely had it come from me before too. But one thing you do enjoy, oh, actually, yeah, K2 has a question. After how many revisions do you want to toss it out the window?
you it just depends. I mean, and depends on what you got going on in life, because most of the suggestions are good suggestions from people, but it's just
Hmm.
how how much work you think it would take to incorporate the suggestion or the change. And so it's all just a balancing act like everything else in life. But yeah, sometimes it's especially if it's a model you don't really want to be doing in the first place, then 2 revisions you just want to throw it out the window. But if it's something you're passionate about, like some of the Garland stuff, like gets hardly any downloads, but it's fun, and I keep going, and have 16 or 20 different designs. So
Yeah, so we've got things that have been certainly been featured and things that have won. There's how many times have you won for
just
design? One
twice. That
twice,
was
is
the
it?
big one that
Oh,
got me
twice.
the Prusa,
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
snowflake
so you've
type
actually
pattern.
you but you actually have two Prusas from printables.
Yes.
So you do like the statistics, you do like the numbers. It's fun to see the Prusa meters and that sort of go. So yeah, of course anybody can go onto printables, and all of these models are for you to download. But I like to speak for the designer. Make sure that you oh, see, I didn't even do that. Make sure you like and save these things to collections. And oh, see, there's things I didn't even go through all your friends go through all your friends profiles and like, and then of course make their models and share. um
Yeah,
Yeah.
printables
Oh yeah,
is
this
fantastic.
is the only benchy I've ever printed, which is the SFP Perillo. So yeah, and
Yeah, and
I,
that's
I think
another
that aspect of
fun one.
community, hmm and that's a motivator too. The whole community interaction with your models and with your designs, and that keeps you sort of going.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole reason, especially those of us who put them out there for free. And it's just
Hmm.
that's what drives you, is the downloads and the likes and people remixing it, or doing something fun with it. And that's the whole reason that a lot of us do it, is the driving. That's why the printables thing is so great, because then there's actually a tangible benefit too, on top of
Hmm.
just
Yeah.
the likes and downloads. So that was
Yeah.
that was really amazing to earn enough to get a Prusa Mini. And I can't remember who suggested that as a joke, and then Prusa actually made it happen, and It's just
Yeah,
great
exactly.
company and a great site. So
Yes, I have a long way to go with my printables, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there, bit by bit. So you do have a problem, and you're willing to admit it, and that is Craigslist.
yes, yes, that's just a
so
small
so
sample. Yeah, anytime I
what does Fixum Gal think of this?
uh, some of those are still at the office. Well, now they're in the building, so I got unfortunately a place to hide stuff. But anyway, if I see a printer in need on Craigslist for like less than $100, it's within a few miles of my house. I'd have to get it. But anyway, that little Creality, I haven't even fired it up yet. It's still in the box, but I think that would be fun to mess with. And a lot of Enders that people are Ender 3 Ender 3 Pros people are got for Christmas and didn't really want to get into 3D printing. So we have several of those. The monoprice minis used to be pretty prevalent for 50, $70 on Craigslist. So I have had a few of those. We fixed them up and sold them to people. And I still need that Prusa MK3S on the left. I need to rebuild. I don't know what the guy did to the hot end, but he destroyed 2 hot ends on that. So it just needs a
Oh,
little love. And
wow.
anyway, so yes, I do have a Craigslist problem with retro computers and 3D printers for sure.
It could be worse, could be much worse. Yeah, one interesting thing that I found with MakerDeck this year was people coming in immediately after getting their very first 3D printer and saying, help. And the beautiful thing about MakerDeck is that we were able to help people. So, yes, Glendon says prayers for printers. So I think maybe we helped, help alleviate the Craigslist problem a bit, because we were able to sort of take people off the ledge where they're like, I don't want to, I don't even
Yes.
understand what I'm doing. And I think the fun thing about MakerDeck too is there are people that are coming in, they're seeing the printables contests, they're getting inspiration of what to print based on what other people are printing or what we're sharing. And yeah, I think that's one of the fun things about the collaborative spirit of MakerDeck, is that we're definitely we're sharing knowledge, we're sharing resources, we're
Yep.
sharing and I think you sort of jumped right into that, and I think that's one of the things that's made MakerDeck continue to flow, is people like you just jumping in and helping in whatever capacity that you have. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's sort of the things that like yeah.
I would just say I'd like to be there to support the people who actually help. I don't feel, I guess, confident enough to give much tech support, because some days I feel like I'm barely able to get things to print that I want, even though I've been doing it for a while. But anyway, it's just providing help and a platform that's fun for people to come to, for the people that really do help other people and know what they're doing and can help them dial in a printer in chat, which is not my forte. But I say the whole MakerDeck community and just the whole broader 3D printing community has been so phenomenal on Twitter. And it's just, kind of felt like, oh, these are my people once we discovered like other makers. There's not a lot in my personal life that, are into 3D printing or even just making in general. So much fun to get inspiration from all the people out there and see their projects, and that you build on the shoulder of giants. So a lot of times you'll get inspiration from someone's project and kind of run with it from there.
So to you, I guess we have this broad question that continues to be debated and discussed and joked about and whatever. And it's not about the K2 clip. It's what is MakerDeck? What is MakerDeck to you?
I guess it's kind of like a town hall and community center where people can come and, chat, get to know each other, hang out, share common interests, let people know what's going on in their lives and vice versa. It's just, just this fun place to hang out and share.
And what do you, we're running into a year of MakerDeck now. So what do you see happening with MakerDeck, or what would you like to see happen with MakerDeck in the future as one of our founding members?
Well, it would be fun to see it kind of grow beyond the four walls of Twitch and go out into the real world. And we talked about MakerDeck IRL. It'd be really fun to see people in person, some kind of event, but even branching out into YouTube like we've been doing, and just kind of spreading the word of what a fun place MakerDeck is, and just how amazing all of the people who participate are, and just getting that word out to the wider audience would be a much better thing.
We've had a few meetings, and I think the one thing that you brought up was recruitment, and so you want to see more people, more diversity, and more people to help us out too.
That too, yes.
And it's kind of fun. Well, and last night we tried something new because someone in our community, RC Maniac, he keeps really odd hours, and our beloved Kieran, who's in Australia, he's going to be on vacation soon. So for the overnight shifts, we're needing some help, and so RC offered to help, and he got trained last night. So we brought another person that's going to help out, in the studio. We're always looking for that kind of help, but I know that it's people like you and Krusty and even like people like Chris behind the scenes, Glendon, and then our whole studio crew and everything. You guys really do help MakerDeck. You are the heart and also the foundation of everything that we do. So everybody should really thank Fixumdude for being like, Fixumdude is one of the voices of reason. I think that people, if you got to be in our meetings, you would understand.
Well, for me, you guys are the rock stars, the people who actually run it. It's just, I can't imagine having, that kind of responsibility, and you guys do it so well, and it's such a time, commitment. And like, to me, you're the ones who really keep it going, the ones, flipping screens and bringing people in and, dropping them out when they're done. And, that's to me is what really makes it a fun place to be and interesting.
Yeah, we have, Austin and Pink and Kieran and Joe Mike and Glendon and at times Krusty. We've got now we've got RC. I don't want to miss anybody's name, so I'm just going to take a look to make sure I'm not missing anybody. We've got Chris. We've got both Chris's, Krusty Chris and Perlo Chris. We've got Kieran and Glendon, Joe Mike, Pink, Zombie or Austin. We've got, and now RC is helping out. And then of course we have our moderators, which, I mean, we could list all of them, but you can look up and see who's there moderating. But definitely, I think and one thing that I've seen and that has surprised me, maybe shouldn't have surprised me, but it's how how MakerDeck takes care of each other. So even now, if Justin had filament flailing along on his bed there, someone else would likely go into chat and tag him and say, Justin, looks like you have a problem.
Yeah.
And then people would try to troubleshoot with the person. I've seen a lot of people go into our tech support on Discord and help people with their adhesion issues, or help them build, figure out what they need to improve their ender. Right now, I'm in a conversation with someone who bought two Amazon return focuses, and I'm able to use my whole year of knowledge to sort of help them troubleshoot what's going on with the printer, so they can have one working printer. So I think that's something that's not just 3D printing, but also the spirit of MakerDeck. Just like Krusty's saying right now, MakerDeck isn't anyone; it is everyone.
Yeah.
For
yeah,
sure.
It's always much greater when everyone's here. Makes it a much bigger, better thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's all the people that have helped us out from the sidelines and given advice and hopped in when we've needed, a little bit of help. And yeah, like Fat Boy says, that's how I found my failing print at 3 a.m. I saw my name highlighted in chat. So, we all sort of, we work together and help each other. And I know that sounds like warm and fuzzy, because it hasn't always been warm. There are definitely personalities and there are interesting things that have happened. We are all human beings, all walks of life and all different things. So we've weathered most of that. And then we just bear with each other too. So yeah.
Yep.
But I think that leading with kindness is has been something that's made MakerDeck continue for the last year.
Yes.
Yeah. So are you ready to ramp up to our 1 year celebration?
Oh yeah.
We're going to have a lot of we definitely want lots of people involved in that, but of course Fixumdude's going to be poked by me a lot. Say, can we do this graphic? Can we make this? I need to do a letter to potential sponsors, and
yeah.
and that's where I find I'm so grateful to have your help.
No, it's fun.
Everybody should know, like,
one more time.
There's lots of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that you have no idea how much it makes a difference to us being able to continue.
Everyone here is so helpful and amazing that it's just a fun community to be a part of.
Yeah, and so we'll probably wrap things up now, but I did want to say, if anyone is currently a maker and you want to join, I will, the StreamYard link is there. I think I'm going to set up a new StreamYard. It's going to be a funny day today. So if you want to pop in, we're going to do that. And until then, I'm going to see what I can do here. Don't talk about anyway, but thank you so much for being a part of everything. But thank you for being here today. And so is there anything else that you'd like to share, or any advice for people that are starting out?
Just do it. I mean, that's the hardest step, is always just starting. So just start with Tinkercad, or start with Fusion or Onshape or whatever tool. Like, I know a lot of people personally that fall victim to that toolbox fallacy, where I'll start taking pictures once I get a better camera, but you can take really amazing pictures on your phone. So just whatever you feel like you want to do, just start doing it and figure it out later. Like when someone asks you, can you help me with this? I always say yes, and then try to figure it out, unless it's like heart surgery or something. But just for making and crafting and stuff, just give it a try. And then that's one of my big takeaways, is just that everyone here is so amazing. So if you need help with anything, building a deck or 3D printing or knitting or painting, there's always someone who's even if they don't know, they'll help point you to the right resources or someone who can help you. So that's why I enjoy hanging out and being part of MakerDeck so much, is just all the people who watch, all the people who mod and direct and participate. It's just really fun. So anyway, my advice is just do it. I think someone copyrighted that though.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mike. Although I'll never call you that. Even to your face, I'll probably call you Fixumdude, like I call Krusty
No.
Krusty. I don't know, you can call me Pez Liz or whatever. Just don't call me late for supper, right?
Or dinner.
Yes, or dinner, supper. Yeah, we have a lot of fun here. I think that's the big thing. And also anyone that's just joining, this will be on YouTube. We will be publishing this on YouTube at a later date. And as I mentioned, if you're a maker, the streaming link is there, and come in with your makes. Otherwise, it's going to be the Fat Boy and Justin show for the next little while. I'm going to get a print set up. I'm working on actually, Kay Sipple has a model that he asked me to test. So for St. Patrick's Day. So I'm going to get that going. And then we will be back here. I'll be back here with Wexter in an hour or so.
Can't wait to see that one.
With another interview. Yeah, so that'll be fun. I'll be here with Vedran. And and we're also hoping to do more of these types of specials and some more interviews. Some of them might end up be just on YouTube or published for YouTube. I just wanted to try and see what we could do here. And definitely, we want to have other people possibly host interviews or host discussions. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely. This is going to be edited from YouTube, just so you know. I'm going to have this video.
Okay.
So this is just us live now. This is us live. We can do whatever we want, say whatever we want. But definitely we've got a programming forum, and also even if you want to test the waters, what I've been doing is having people on for coffee talk. That's without video. That's just usually in the mornings on MakerDeck, we'll have a conversation. So Daddy Wazzy has been on, Pink has been on, Grant, who's in chat, Grant's been on. Trying to remember who else. Well, Glendon and Austin and a few other people. But I think coffee talk is a good way for people to see if it's something that they're comfortable with. Because what we really want, and as you led with in one of our meetings, is we want to recruit more people and include as many people as possible in MakerDeck. So yes, DeWolfie says great job. So yeah, we're doing our best. We're trying to have a lot of different people, and people have some really interesting stories. Like, I didn't know that Daddy Wazzy had lived in a submarine or done espionage, what have you, and there's all sorts of, as Carsey said, yes, come to the dark side. We have cookies. We do have a cookie cutter, of course. Grant will tell you that it's one use only, and Grant will also tell you that resin is toxic. So we've got lots of fun. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you, even though it's not going to be included in this interview. What is one of the 3D printing fallacies that really bothers you?
Me? Put me on the spot.
Or are you bothered?
3D printing fallacies. Give me an example.
Well, Grant saying wet filament.
Oh, it's never wet filament. Yes. Trying to think.
Oh, I know. Yeah. What's your favorite printer right now? Or do you pick a favorite?
I don't know. all good at different tasks, but I like
Mm-hmm.
my Prusas. The bamboo's been great. I've not had Grant's experience, so other than a couple jams from old filament, we won't say wet, but it breaks off. But mine's been really reliable. But I don't know, these Perusas are just rock stars when it comes to just banging out the prints. They might take a
Mm-hmm.
little longer, but you don't usually have to worry about keeping an eye on them. And so I would have to say my Prusa MK3S Plus is my favorite right now. It's the one I use the most.